Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, I know, here I am again. It's one of these days I'm trying to clean house and do things. My daughter's coming tomorrow. And yeah, in case you guys didn't know, the get-together that's in North Carolina this weekend, I mentioned a few weeks back I'm not coming because my daughter's going to be in town and we got stuff to go see for her schooling and things like that for her to get into a medical program. So just in case you guys are wondering, just a quick reminder, I won't be there. But so as I'm running around cleaning the house and Mrs. P's doing upstairs and I'm doing downstairs, here it is. It's take a break for a second, check the news, and it's like, holy crap, something else come out. And, you'd think this was a Friday, but it's not. Well, I talked about at the beginning of the year, if you wanted to buy a house, do it now, okay? I talked about maybe a month ago, I said, if you want to buy a house, don't do it now. Yeah, if you're planning on moving, personal opinion here, don't. Not right now, okay? And the numbers are now coming out to prove exactly what I was saying was going to happen is happening. Patera did a interesting video yesterday, very good, well thought out video on the home situation, buying a house, doing whatever, kind of reiterated a little bit of what I had said. If you bought a house in January versus buying a house today, the same house, okay, $200,000 house, which these days that's hard to find, okay, over the course of a 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay $250,000 more in October than you would in January. All interest. I don't know about any of you, but I don't have $250,000 to piss away ever. All right. 30-year mortgage rates are now, on average, above 7%, 7.08. This is higher than we have been since the 2008-2009 great housing crisis. All right. The reason for coming on here now is I want to show you something. Take a look at this chart. This is the report that came out today from the National Association of Home Builders. Now, I want to explain this chart to you a little bit. The yellow line is the amount of new housing starts, houses that are under construction at any given point, okay? The red/blue back to red is the amount of buyers in the market, all right? Now, if you look at that first big drop of the red line and go down to the year, that was pandemic related. Everybody stopped doing everything. Nobody did anything. Nobody was buying anything. Poof. That was the beginning of the pandemic. We quickly came back. If you notice, there was a slight drop in the yellow line at the same time. The home builders, they kind of stopped building new stuff, okay? But then we went absolutely insane. And y'all remember this story of a year ago, whatever it was. I mean, people put houses up for sale and, they'd have 30 views on the first weekend and, 5 bids Monday morning, right? And that was what you saw, where the blue line there significantly outpaced the yellow line. There were way more buyers than there were houses, okay? New build, new construction, or existing homes. Now you look at where we are now, 2022. The home builders are still going up. And remember, guys, it's not like you snap their fingers and a house is up in a week. Depending on who the builder is, a house can take anywhere from 3 months to 9 months to build. If you live out here, 2 years, okay? Because good luck finding contractors that'll come out here. But so the home builders have slightly tapered off in starting new building. But look at the buyer traffic. It has dropped like crazy, okay? Why? Well, because 7% interest rates mean a lot more people don't qualify for houses, okay? Remember, you're taking your you're taking your income, your debt to income ratio, and then they calculate what your payment would be and go, you can't afford this. So where 10 months ago you could afford a $200,000 house, now the exact same house, the exact same bank with you having the exact same income, they go, sorry, now you can't afford it. Why? Because of the interest rates. This is how all this stuff with the Fed affects you and me, affects the economy, all right? Trying to explain this. I know we get into the financial stuff sometimes. Some people love it. Some people are like, oh my God, why do you even talk about this? This is important because now that you're seeing no buyers in the market, supply and demand tells you what's going to happen. Housing prices are going to have to come down. There is no choice. We are at a peak, just like we were in 2008. Remember what happened after 2008. Can anybody else see the similarities here? The housing market, the economy, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, gee, I don't know, a war, pick something here. Remember who was elected president in 2008, remember how he drove the economy into the ground and said, 2% inflation or 2% GDP is all you're ever going to see again. Yeah, until his successor came in and said, blow it out your whatever. Okay. If you're in the market to buy a house, wait. If you're in the market to move, I'm not going to say don't move, but what I'm going to say is, my opinion, you might be better off renting where you want to go. A lot of people want to get out of blue states, okay? California, New York, Illinois. Yeah, you guys are seeing population drops like crazy. The outflow is insane, okay? And people are moving to Florida, Texas, Tennessee, whatever. Gee, those no state income tax states. But my suggestion is wait. Go where you are, rent, okay? While you're renting, you've got a lot more time to learn the area, meet the people. Moving from state, unless you know the area, you're out of the frying pan and into the fire. You don't know if you're going to move into a very conservative blue area, very red area. I know a few of you have asked me about moving here, and some people say, oh yeah, I found a place in Maryville. And I'm like, yeah, if you want to live around a bunch of liberals, go to Maryville. Okay. It's Tennessee. Yeah, it is, okay? And like every other state, there's blue spots and red spots, okay? Just saying. But you can, if you go in and rent, you can kind of scope out the area, meet the people, find what side of town you want to live on. You can go look at properties on the weekend. You can start putting a list rather than trying to do everything on the internet and go, hey, this is great. Because I know people come from here. I met a couple maybe about 3 weeks ago who drove all the way here from North Carolina to see a property halfway up the mountain. And they're like, oh yeah, it looked like it was a great price. I'm like, yeah, but you can't build on it. They're like, why not? I said, because you got about 15, 20 feet on the street that is level with the street, and then it's a cliff. Yeah, it's 5 acres of property, but there's no way you can build on it. All right, there's no way you can put a driveway in. But you don't see that in pictures. Again, remember when you're on the internet, especially with real estate, cars, and they show you all the good pictures. They're staged until you get there. How many times have you ever gone buying a used car and it looks great until you get there and go, oh, they didn't show me the passenger side that's got a big crease down the whole side of it. That's the same with real estate. So my opinion, again, if you're ready to move, if you can sell your house, which there's the good luck. I hope you had done it months ago when you could, go rent. I know, why the hell would I rent? Well, unless you want to pay the top of the market, which nobody's ever going to suggest you do, wait. I know how the value of real estate has increased in this area because I know what we paid for our house, which was a little more than $200, okay? And best you can go off of is what Zillow says, okay? And Zillow says it's worth $400. Now, granted, we've added a garage and a pond and an extra acre and things like that. Sure, okay. So let's say what we've put into the house, I've still got appreciation. Do I expect that to come back down? Yeah. No problem. If you're looking at buying real estate, guys, be patient. You're going to have the same opportunity that you did 12, 13 years ago, where there's going to be steals of deals out there. Right now, if you had the chance to get out of your house, made a nice little profit, you can go rent, pay off all those other bills, pay off the cars, pay off the credit cards, pay off the student loans. I'll touch on that in just a second. Pay off the student loans, do whatever. Improve your credibility, lower your burden, if you will. Because then, depending on how far prices come out, the last thing you want to do is find a perfect piece of property that's cheap, and the bank say, sorry, you got too much debt. Okay. Last one I'm going to throw in is going to be controversial here. And this is just an FYI. The application for student loan debt relief has been put up. Whether or not it goes through, who knows, but the application's out there. And I know this is going to sound contrary to anything that you'd ever think would come out of my mouth, but I'm going to say this. If you have student loans, apply for it. If you get $10,000 off your student loan, fine. Here's the reason why, and I know morally I'm against it. Logically, why not? Okay, here's my point. If you have $10,000 in student loans and you get those forgiven, fine. Now you have nothing in student loans. Your debt burden's better off. You're going, if this does happen, you're going to pay for it anyway. Yes, are a bunch of us going to get screwed paying for all the people that get their college paid for? Or at least some of it? Yup. But you know what? If you've got a student loan, you're going to get screwed paying for it too in higher inflation. You might as well take advantage of it. That's just the logical me saying, and I'll use the same logic I use this. Everybody that got all those stimmy checks, as much as everybody bitched going, all this is going to do is cause inflation. All it's going to do is cause inflation. Guess what? Everybody still cashed them. Okay, there might be a minuscule percentage of the people who sent the money back to the government or tore up the check or did whatever. But why? You threw $1,200 out or whatever the hell you got. You're paying for it now anyway, right? You're paying for the inflation just like I'm paying for the inflation. You don't go into the grocery store and they go, did you cash your stimmy check? Yes, I did. Okay, the price for that loaf of bread is $5. Did you cash your stimmy check? No, I sent it back to the government. Oh, okay, then your price for the loaf of bread is $1. Is anybody hearing that? Because I'm sure not. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If it's there, screw them, take it. Okay, take what you can get while you're gonna pay for it anyway. You know, I understand it screws a lot of us, but some of you guys might actually get a little benefit out of it. Do I agree with it? No, but it is what it is. And like I said in the earlier video, there's a lot of things that are out of my control. But my suggestion, everybody there, take advantage of it if you can. Yeah, I know. I'll probably lose a few people from that one going, how could you say something like that? Because I'm a realist. That's it. You know, I don't live in a fantasy world. So have a good one, y'all. We'll see you tonight. That better be the last one. Pinball out.